Hello, everyone. I'd like to talk about the special additional blessing that we say in the repetition of the Amidah. It's said without the conclusion of Baruch Atah Hashem Honeh Betzra in Mincha during the Shema Tefillah, but the discussion about its place in the Shemona Esrei and why it's after the seventh blessing of Goel Israel, I think is very fascinating and also very meaningful. So, in my research, I found out that the only time in the whole Tanakh, which is crazy in my opinion. The only time that in the whole Tanakh that the word Aneinu is mentioned in a way of asking to answer us is actually by the Nevi'ah Baal. So when Elijah did the experiment with the Nevi'ah Baal, where he said that it should take one ox and prepare him on the altar and or it on the altar and then cry to the Baal, their god, to light the fire, and because they are the majority, and he says that you should not put fire. The fire has to come down from your God. And then it says that in verse 26 it says they took the bull that was given to them, and the Talmud, by the way, has an amazing idea about why he had to give them the bull instead of them taking it like the previous verse. And the Talmud says that Elijah had to convince the bull that by him going and being sacrificed for the Baal, it's part of the Kiddush Hashem, part of the sanctification of Hashem's name, that will be done through this, even though it's being sacrificed supposedly to the Baal as opposed to Hashem. So that's why it says Asher Natan Lahem, and then it says Vayikru b'Shem Baal ma'abokar ad Tzorayim. They called the name of the Baal from morning until noon, and said Habal Aneinu ve'en kol ve'en oneh, and there was no response from the Baal. And so, as far as I could find, this is the only time in the whole Tanakh that it says the word Aneinu. It is definitely related to Hashem listening and answering, because in Shmot, when it says about the people of Israel crying to Hashem, it says Vayar et onienu, ve'et amalenu ve'et lachatzenu, and other words like that. So I think that the root is Ain Nun Hey, but there are other places where similar words are related to this. So I'm not sure why Sefaria does not have the actual Nusach of Aneinu. When we were learning the Nusach, we didn't concentrate on that, but I noticed this morning that in Ashkenaz, we say Haoneh be'etzara, that blessed are you Hashem, who answers in a time of distress and or time of trouble. And in Nusach Sfarad and Sfaradi, we say Haoneh la'amo Yisrael be'etzara. So Hashem who answers the people of Israel be'etzara. I'm not sure if there's a real reason why we include the people of Israel, but maybe we should look into the Ritva of why this is placed here Bichlal and what is the idea. So there's no English for the Ritva, so the Ritva on Masechet Ta'anit, where the Mishnah says that we have to gather and the Chazan adds this prayer of Aneinu. It says Umekoma Hayom Lo'omra V'Berkat Goel Israel, and its proper place is to say it in the blessing of Goel Israel or right after. She'af al pi she'Berkat Goel Israel, even though Berkat Goel Israel is not on the redemption from the exile, from the diaspora, which is very surprising because I thought it is related to Goel Israel, meaning in the present tense. Hashem is always saving us from the exile. Ritva says very clearly it's not about that exile, about the redemption from the exile, because Sharei Yesh La Bracha B'fnei Atzma B'Tzemach David U'Vnei Yerushalayim, that the exile in the idea of redemption has its own blessing, a double blessing in Tzemach David, which is blessing number 15, if I remember correctly, and Bnei Yerushalayim, which is 14. And ve'eno ela shianiach lanu min hatzarot, כמו שכתב Rashi Zal, that it's only for Hashem to allow us to be redeemed momentarily from the troubles that we are, and that's why it's Goel Yisrael in the present tense. And Rashi says this already in Perak Haya Kotevet HaMegillah, Koret HaMegillah, which is in Megillah. Mikol makom yoter ra'ui lomar k'derabba, שאומרים היום בחתימה שחותמים בה העונה בעת צרה, כמו בשערים. So, means that not only on a public fast day, but also on a private fast day, a person should say Honeh Be'etzara, and maybe that's the explanation why it's not Honeh L'Amo Yisrael Be'etzara, because on public fast days, of course, Am Yisrael is fasting, but if there's no rain in one place, then they have to make a Tanit like we learned with Benedict, and if somebody is fasting either because it's his custom to do it for your site or for any other reason, again, it would not be Ha'oneh L'Amo Yisrael Be'etzara, it would be his private prayer for Hashem to answer him in time of distress. And so that, I think, will also explain another discrepancy that the Rav Melamed brings in Peninei Halacha about the Mishnah Berurah. So it sounds like we're going to a different topic, but really it's not, because the explanation is very much the same. So Misha Achal V'Shata B'Tzom, if somebody ate less than a kazait or drinks less than a melol logmav, which is a mouthful, is considered to still be fasting and should recite Aneinu. He's talking here about the private Aneinu, which is in Mincha, in the Sanot Amidah. But if one ate or drank more than that, he has broken his fast and may not recite Aneinu. And so in the note, he says like this: there are varying opinions on this issue, and Mishnah Berurah states, based on Nehar Shalom, that one should recite Aneinu in case they did not break the fast. In Berurah Halacha, however, he cites Ma'amar Mordechai, which is much earlier opinion that one who eats on a fast day should not recite Aneinu at all. And so Shevet HaLevi, Rav Vosner in Bnei Brak, in the Shut, so the responsa, section 5, responsa 60, reconciles this contradiction by explaining that one who is exempt from fasting should not recite Aneinu, whereas one who ate accidentally should recite it because the fast applies to him. And so that's what I said before about being part of Am Yisrael. So even if you ate accidentally, but you're still praying, so you should still say Aneinu according to this opinion, because it's Ha'oneh L'Amo Yisrael Be'etzara. It's Hashem responding to the distress of the people calling out to Hashem. In my humble opinion of it, however, in light of the Ashkenazi custom not to recite Aneinu and Shacharit because one might not fast the entire day, we can clearly infer that one who has already eaten should not recite it. Many Sephardim have adopted this custom. Even one who merely intends to eat but has not yet done so should not recite Aneinu, because basically they're saying, again, I am not part of the tzibur, I'm not part of this fasting, and so it's more about the intent of the heart. And again, going back to the Ritva, the idea that it's also a personal and also a public request is based on that. And so if I want to separate myself from the tzibur, from the congregation, and not fast, even if I'm not doing it publicly, I'm basically saying that I'm not interested in Hashem answering our call. And also, it would be dishonest to say Honeh Be'etzara and say Hashem's name, Baruch Atah Hashem, when you're not really fasting. But if somebody is exempt from fasting, then that makes more sense that even though they are part of the tzibur, they still don't say Aneinu, again for the same reason that it's not saying the absolute truth. And so tomorrow maybe we'll touch a little bit on this, but want to wish you all a very good day and meaningful fast, and we'll stop here.